Good afternoon, viewers. Myself, Dr. Kaushal Ippili. I'm consultant neurosurgeon at Apollo Jubilee Hills. Today, I just want to speak about something like spinal cord injury. September 5th being Spinal Cord Injury Day, so I would like to create some awareness among the public regarding spinal cord injury. So, first, before we go into what is spinal cord injury and why is it so important, you should understand that the brain cells continue as something called as spinal cord. The spinal cord is within the backbone. So, spinal cord is nothing but the nervous tissue which is enclosed within the spinal column or the bony column that we have, that is called as the backbone. So, spinal cord injury can happen with the injury, along with injury of the bony column, without the injury of the bony column also. Why is it so important? Because as you know, the nervous tissue doesn't have the capacity to regenerate. If there is any damage to this spinal cord, it may be irreversible. So, when can this happen? The most common cause for spinal cord injury is because of motor vehicle accidents. The other causes could be because of some assault. Assault can be with blunt objects, or sharp knife, or a bullet injury can also lead to a spinal cord injury. The other common causes could be, especially in rural areas, what we see is fall from height is a very common cause for spinal cord injury, because when they fall from height, either when they are trying to pluck something out of trees and something like that, when they climb they tend to fall down accidentally and then they tend to injure themselves. There is always a bony injury associated whenever they fall from a height like that. The other causes for spinal cord injuries are nothing like, there's some like diseases. The common disease can be because of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is nothing but the losing strength of the bone, and then there can be decreased mineral density in the bone, and then they can usually crack up and then cause compression over the nervous tissue, leading to spinal cord injury. So these are some of the common causes of this. So what will happen if there is a spinal cord injury? The spinal cord extends from the neck region till the lower back. So based on the level of injury, the symptoms happen. So if there is an injury at the neck level, then patient have weakness in hands as well as legs, and also they lose control over their urination and stools. And not only that, if there is an injury which is in the higher part of the neck, then breathing also gets affected. And then most of the times what happens, even after any surgical procedure also, most of the times they don't recover that much, because as I mentioned before, the nerve doesn't have the capacity to regenerate whenever there is an injury or whenever there is a cut, because the nervous tissue is very, very friable, and because of the bony injury, what will happen, it tears off the nervous tissue. So if there is an injury below that, in the chest region, then patients tend to have weakness below that. Then any kind of spinal cord injury, the injury at that below the level, everything, all the sensations are lost. The movement is lost, sensation is not there, urination, bowel control is not there, and also sexual functions are also lost. And that is the reason why it is very important to have some awareness in the public, so that we can prevent these spinal cord injuries. How can you prevent? Most importantly, as I told you, the motor vehicle accidents are the most common cause, apart from fall from height, and also sports injuries are also can lead to spinal cord injuries. So it is always better to drive safely. So if we have hoardings everywhere to drive safely, but what is important? One, when you are say in a four-wheeler or something, you should wear some seat belt so that the spinal cord is not broken there. And also you should take all the precautions so that you don't fall off from higher areas. Whenever at the workplace, you should wear the protective equipment. Say somebody who is working in a construction place, you should the protective equipments are provided and you should always wear them. And if you are playing any contact sport, then there are other protective gear that are provided along with the contact sport. So those things also should be worn. So it is always important to prevent these injuries, because as I told you, even surgical procedures are only there to stabilize the bone It cannot repair the nervous tissue. There are many anecdotal reports you see once in a while in the newspaper that there are some stem cell transplantation that happened and then patients started walking and running, but those are all only anecdotal this thing without any significant scientific evidence. So in this brief talk, what I would like to put forward is that spinal cord injuries are very dangerous, and most of the times patients are paralyzed forever. Prevention is always better. Always use your protective equipment and also drive safely whenever you are traveling. Thank you.